Yeah, so I was a freshman at Wichita State. My sister's a landscape architect, and so when she was studying landscape architecture at K-State, she also had a couple summer jobs. One in doing landscape maintenance, and then two later on in working in a landscape architecture firm. And so I kind of followed her through high school, and where she had a job, I tend to have a job.
Nice.
And so, one was doing maintenance and plant material, and then that grew into design and surveying and engineering and things of that nature. And so I had a background in high school. One of my favorite classes was drafting and architectural drafting. And so I had 3 or 4 years of that during high school. And so that allowed me the understanding of how to lay out vellum and do drawings and do architectural and drafting work and things of that nature. So that really helped her out with her side of the job requirement where she was at. And so that also gave me a really good purview into architecture and drafting and design and things of that nature. And so from that standpoint, I used to help out with that. So the natural progression to then go to starting a landscape construction company was a natural element for me because us kids grew up in a family business. Our parents had a little dry cleaners. They had a little coin laundry. My dad always had a little business thing going. And us kids were sometimes volunteers and sometimes involuntary volunteers.
Just call it employees.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were put into, we were the unpaid employees.
Yes.
Darn.
And so a lot of times, what did we get out of that? We received a lot of attributes from that. I think the ability to think out of the box, to be self-driven, to be someone that activates and moves forward, without prompting. And also, living in a world where you didn't have a safety net, right? So it was a situation where whatever you got paid was what you earned, what you created. And so in a lot of cases, that can be an uncomfortable situation in a lot of people's lives. And so starting and being part of entrepreneurship early on and living in that environment where I saw my parents have to worry about, did they pay paying the electric bill, paying the gas bill, paying the rent? How do you make the dollars meet at the end of the month?
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing you do is pay yourself, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You pay everybody else and then you pay yourself. So I lived that environment and I saw that, and it can be a source of really high anxiety for people, or it can be very liberating because at the end of the day you control your own destiny, and that can be challenging and that can be really exciting.
Yeah.
And so depending on how the day comes down, it can be either way. And so for me, it was a natural progression because I lived in that environment. So I didn't have near the anxiety to be able to jump into starting my own business. Mm-hmm. And so I did start a landscape construction business. And then we had the oil and gas business. In the late 80s, we had oil and gas that was $8-9 a barrel. And there was a lot of stress in the market. And so it seemed to me that the price couldn't get much lower. Mm-hmm. So simple laws of economics, buy low, sell high. Mm-hmm. I thought, it can't get worse than this. So I thought, this is a good time to try to get in the business. And so got in the oil and gas business, and that's been a terrific business for us even today. And then in the 90s, we had the savings and loan crisis. And, you could buy real estate for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar. And so
that sounds pretty good.
Yes. Yeah. So again, it was a stressful situation, and so it was an opportunity for us to get in. So I think where that kind of takes you full circle as far as my story, mm-hmm. It's about identifying opportunities. A lot of times it might be a stressful economic opportunity, and then if we like the industry or we like that there's a business model around that, then we take a look at that industry and say, okay, yes, there's a lot of stress right now. yes, it could be a difficult situation. Could we build a business model that could be successful coming in at a low position, a low cost position, and then growing it as it recovers? And so I think our story has become, how do we look at value add opportunities and see if we can't play a role in a business model that will work as that particular industry recovers.
There's a lot of gems in what you just said there.
There's so many.
Yeah. I think a really crucial one, though, was understanding that you control your own destiny at such a young age through your parents.